The Amazing Spider-Man never stops, never slips. He can hide his pins, spread his lines, drop his hips. But I can spin a web with my lips. Hi friends, welcome back to Toy Lips. 2022 marks the 60th anniversary of The Amazing Spider-Man, and also the 1-year anniversary of my humble little channel. So today I want to take a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows 2-pack with Spider-Man and Spinneret. And you might consider this anniversary an opportunity to renew your vows, dear viewer. Subscribe if you haven't already. And leave a like as we look inside. So, as a positive, Plastic Free seems to have done wonders for the glare. I understand the problems, the complaints. We get these shots of them on the side, contrasting artwork over here. That looks great. From the comics, a little bit on the bottom. Here's a barcode, half a spider head. More in-depth look on the back. The issue arises, though, when it's like the thing inside isn't quite reflective. But, you know, welcome to stuff, spending your money on stuff other than toys, though. You know what I mean? It'll say that final products may differ, and so on. You can't get a box of cereal it's not really they didn't photograph that batch of the cereal. You know what I mean? And here they are, unboxed and upright. Now, Toy Lips got mad love for the ladies. But this is why we're all here, right? Peter Parker is the Amazing Spider-Man, brought to us back in 1962 by the inimitable Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He is one of the most ostentatious offerings in the whole of the Marvel menagerie. Appearing very nearly as he did all those years ago, this is Hasbro's most premium Spider-Man figure to date, featuring all of the modern niceties, and just such a clean and iconic look for the character. We've got these more modern big eyes, the wider web pattern, the brighter red, the bigger spider, and the pinless double joints. No more will you have red pins showing through on your blue. The retro release from a couple years ago, it checked most of these boxes, but it is meant to evoke a different era. This is the modern and just in general sort of timeless classic rendition of Spider-Man. It's on the body they have been refining for a minute, and everything here, all the stuff that's going to vary by figure here, so far I'm having really good luck. This looks really nice. I like the option, what they've done here for the spider, that kind of stretches it out. But you can reel it back in. All the edges on the paint look really clean. The lines, everything is where it should be, including these peg holes on the bottoms of the feet. Look at the sculpting on that head, too. Very similar in design to, say, like the Pizza Spider-Man, but fleshed out, modernized. You can even see that little bit of detail there in the center of the head. To make this clear right up front, for the friends that don't know exactly what I'm talking about, a couple of years ago, this was the retro-carded Retro Spider-Man release. And you can see it features very nearly all of the same parts here. He's just styled differently, different heads, smaller eyes, smaller spider, tighter lines to represent a more classic Spider-Man from years past. Major upgrades on the new one are taking care of all of the visible pins. You see on some places it's more problematic than others. I think the shoulder is actually new. It looks bigger. It looks bigger on this one. It's not just the lines. I don't think. So you can see all around the thing, they've adjusted the costume a little. The spider. The blue is a little bit different, and the toes now have articulation. So it's an improvement all around, but this one still has a place as it represents a different era. Taking you back to 2013, though, this is the Pizza Spidey. So called because he came with a slice of pizza. But this was the be-all, end-all for a long time, as far as Hasbro was concerned. It's a bit thin, and they trotted out nearly every iteration of Spider-Man on this buck. He's got the butterfly shoulders, but he doesn't have the calf cut. He's got these big garish pins showing through. And he is all around obsolete with the advent of this new one. Though he doesn't look bad from a distance up on a shelf or somewhere up high if you still want to be that guy. A little slim in the proper accessories department, though he does come with the extra head. And that means a lot for me. This one is really nicely detailed. He also comes with a full complement of requisite spider hands, including open and sweeping and fisting.
Oh, yes.
They pour it on there very easily, like such, just like you'd be accustomed to. Even the head, they pop on and off easier than ever. Mr. Parker, so dapper, so debonair. It is fair to say that Hasbro has been struggling and hustling and chopping and twisting and doing all this cool stuff to bring us articulation that is barely rivaled by import figures and other such things, in my opinion. Not to mention, it is just the cleanest looking Spider-Man. Cha! The head will kick way back here. It's just on a little dumbbell joint, but it has that notch in the back. You don't get anything nuts like you're going to get on the Mary Jane figure for some reason, but it does come back, it comes down, rocks all around. A lot going on with the shoulders, of course, though. They're going to tee up, they're going to twist all the way around. Got that bicep cut. The creamiest of the cream there, the wrist doing like such. You get all this butterfly action that allows him to reach in this far. Back. Wah! Way. And I like the way the spider works in that hinge, and it still holds together pretty well. That's pretty decent. He's got that diaphragm giving you all this range, plus this ab crunch. In concert, this sucker could like fold all the way in half and slide right under your bed. He's got all the hotness with the legs, including drop down hips, letting you do like this and like this. It still doesn't come quite out to the side all the way, whether they're dropped or not. So I don't quite get it. It almost seems like they come up more when they're up. So that's one of those interesting ones that I don't think anyone was really asking for or knew what they were talking about when they were asking for. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, they gon' twist here, they gon' twist here, they gon' fold all the way up like such. And then we're getting extra busy with the feet these days. Being that ankle's going to come all the way back this far, forward this far, it's going to rock side to side, and I know you can see it, we got toe tick. Even flapping down like that. And you know what, though? The important part is everything is really firm. Even these toe joints are fairly firm. Not having any issues there. I think you're going to be able to get some pretty wicked poses going on here. Bring this arm back like it's off of that web. Maybe you got a web whipping hand out here. Bring this sucker up here like this. This one up here. Getting into that Toddy Mac territory. Articulation wise though, this is like the best they can provide, and it's going on the best suited character for it, I think.
Daredevil!
Checking out the better half of the box set, Mary Jane Watson was introduced in 1966, first as a romantic interest and ultimately major player in the Spider-Man mythos. It wasn't until a few years ago in an alternate future take that she would receive her own set of spider powers and identity as Spinneret. This is the first time we've gotten a Spinneret figure, and I think she looks great, minus these big, ugly holes on the back of the figure that are not on the back of the Shriek figure where she takes this body from. It is a good-looking body. We get a good-looking, newly sculpted head here. A little bit of wash in the hair would be nice, but I like the bright colors. All the line work on the costume and this big old spider are looking really good. No glaring paint flaws. Everything looks really clean all the way down the back here. Down to her funny little shoes with this overlay piece here, slit going to the inside. And this is that Shriek body. This is the best of the best as far as the Hasbro Marvel Legends female figures go. You get these double jointed, pinless legs and arms. The look of those is really clean. I think that aesthetically she really pops. Nothing to be mad about here. Taking a quick look at Frances, she is who we have to thank for most of this beautiful body sculpt, except actually, it's the upper torso piece that is completely different here. I'm not entirely sure why. It was a deliberate choice then to give us the upper body with the peg holes here. Maybe for a flight stand that maybe some people from the way back have. I don't know. It sure is glaring, and the Spider-Man figure doesn't have any of that, so I don't really understand why. You could have just painted these funny lines on any body mold, or plugged these up, or maybe just given us a Twitter post or some indication as to where these go. That you didn't leads me to believe that you don't care, but we already all knew that. Hi. Moving on to the accessories, we get a few hands here, and a swappable head. Not much, ultimately, but the alternate heads are a big deal for me. This one is a repaint of the one from the Gwen Stacy figure, Mary Jane head. The paint is a little simpler though, not as much detail, and I like the bright red. But we'll compare it to this other one. Hell, we'll do it right now, and you'll be as disappointed as I think most of us are. Look at the difference. This is not bad, and all on its own, it's even okay. But at the very least, all that paint in the hair, I mean, it's just insulting. But the beauty of this stuff, of course, is you have all of these, and you have all of the options. Like Spinneret and her optional hands. Like the Spider-Man, this Spider-Woman has 3 sets of hands. A set of fisted, a set of open or wall-crawling hands, and a set of web-thwipping hands. Really nicely sculpted, nicely put together. Like all Marvel Legends, they port on and off famously. Nothing to it. Same for that head. Ports right on here. And it's just, that neck, it is a little bit high up. You could see the gapping on the hair. But if there wasn't any gap, you wouldn't really have any articulation. So, you know, it is what it is. And it is just a little high up, man. Anatomy. Come on. Come on. For kicks, if you want that option, it looks like this. Not bad at all. All the colors, the extra paint adds an extra dimension. This keeps that bright aesthetic ultimately, and it's just another option. I appreciate that. So, like, is this not the right stand? Never mind the Wolverine figures. This is the only stand you've sold in, like, the last decade. If it has this little grabby arm here, and you can pull this off, pull this all apart, and you get this little peg here. But this doesn't peg into any of these. You can put it all back together, and you can just grasp her with these jaws. But this whole thing is just, look at it, barely even. It's just extra. It's just too extra. It's just too extra. What do you need all that for? Trying to do that, you can just do this right here. And these are just packed in with the figure for $20. They don't come with any paint, but some of them come with the stand. Hey, sometimes yours are just paint, so I don't know why you're laughing. But yeah, peg holes, I don't really get it. Wouldn't be mad about some stands, though. Checking out the articulation, it is not often where these Marvel Legends female figures shine. MJ here is on the best of the best with the double-jointed pinless look. But she is still missing some modern niceties like butterfly shoulders and anything at the waist. Before we go any further, let's keep throwing in toys as we go. We are playing with toys, right? This is all about toys. This is from Hasbro's sister line here, the G.I. Joe Classified series. Of course, the lovely Lady Jaye. She has butterfly shoulders. Look, nice and tiny, so don't let them tell you how it's too small for that. Those work out great. These are also double jointed and pinless. A lot of good range here. You get the same diaphragm cut, but you also get a waist articulation. And it's like pegged in there, so it's not just a twist. She also gets drop-down hips, and she gets the double-jointed, pinless legs here, upper thigh cut, calf cut. I guess we're just showing you everything on the Lady Jaye figure. This is a really great figure, and for some reason, I mean, she's been clearanced out to like half price in cases. Really solid. Oh, look at that, too. Even the neck articulates. What the hell, Hasbro? I mean, this is Mary Jane in her first figure with spider powers. If anyone deserves the higher level of articulation, I would think. But being that Hasbro has to pay through the nose for the licensing fees for the Marvel characters, plus all of the cocaine and orgies and stuff, it is what it is. You're lucky you're getting anything at all, kids. The head is way too high up on this neck peg, but it is hinged, ball jointed, kicks back impossibly far, down this far. You get a good little bit of tilt there. The arms will come up, they'll rotate around, they'll do their thing. It's just a ball jointed deal. Arms are looking clean. This is what we're all here to see, though. This double jointed pinless action coming up that far, all the way far, and a little bit of hinge on that wrist that rotates all the way around or even just tears out completely, whatever you need. Ball jointed hips coming out this far like this. They twist up here, they bend right here, and nothing again until you come down here and see them coming back this far, forward this far. And these guys are the king of rocker, no matter what anyone else says. This is the way to be. Forward facing pin gives you all of that hot noise. And I am perfectly happy with the way she articulates. There could be more, but for now we're striking a good balance between looks and playability, I think. It's fine. Girls always be like, I'm not flexible. So there. Alright, let's check the height and get into some comparisons. With the hair and everything, they are both about 6 3/8 of an inch. Centimeter yourself right up that sucker if you like. Here's the new unmasked heads on the previous releases of Pete and MJ. Digging it. Alright, with the previous two Spider-Man, the one that most closely matches the body here, the retro-carded Retro Spider-Man. Hence the pinched up design, smaller eyes, you know what I mean? It still has a place in the collection, of course. Even if it's got ugly red pegs. Because before that, this sucker on the right here had a long run as the pinnacle Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man, the Pizza Spider-Man. And I'll be damned if that doesn't look like a very similar head. This new one is superior to both of them, vastly to the one, and a nice upgrade on the other. But like I said, they represent different eras. Like, look at the symbiote Spider-Man. Smaller eyes and a more toned-down spider, too. Look for like a re-release of that with, at the very least, bigger eyes, but a more aggressive spider would be awesome. Here's a comparison with some other Spider-Men, the Cyborg Spider-Man and Symbiote. And Spider-Ladies, May and Gwen. Ladies! Alright, now how about we ratchet up the tension a little and really fill the frame with old 3J and Big Billy Fisk. Spider-Fiends for the whole family, Mysterio and Hydro Man. In the Wet Teeth Super Classic, it's Venom and Carnage. Alright, how about the postmodern variations of another Marvel matchup? Cyclops and Marvel Girl. Some freakish, never-ending tragedy, though. Best maybe not to relate to that. How about Sue and Reed? That's a little better, right? For comparison with some other 6-inch toy lines, we got a Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper and a G.I. Joe Classified Lady Jaye. Fantastic figure. Double-jointed pinless elbows as well. Legs. All of that. But she got a neck piece and some waist twist. Doctor said I need a backiotomy. Next to a couple of NECA Ninja Turtles, the lusty Leonardo and recently reviewed Usagi Yojimbo. Check them out right here on this channel. Alright, let's wrap things up with the Michael Shannon Mezco Cable and the Marvel Legends Morning Coffee, mostly Bucky Cap Deadpool. So, doubling down on the things I've said about this creamy double pack, the star of the show is of course the Spider-Man figure. Based mostly on the retro release from a couple years ago, this figure features a host of innovations on this new iteration. This is the standard for articulation from Marvel Legends, and just a really nice Spider-Man figure at anything approaching this price point, and in a lot of cases beyond. Fight me. MJ has barely had a figure of her own, and this is the first Spinneret. I think she looks great, and she's on the nicest female body they can provide. Best in-class pinless double joints. They can make a couple more improvements to the female body at this point, but this figure is basically the repaint to offset the new on PDP. Even the extra head. I wish it had more accessories, but I dig it. I think it's a respectably executed Marvel Legend, and I'm happy to have basically a new character. And I'm really not trying to defend the price, but let me defend the price a little. $53 seems steep right off the top, but that's $26.50 a figure. That stings a little, but new Black Series are $28 to like $40. Even the VHS X-Men repaints are $28. This is the finest red and blue Spider-Man they offer, and he even comes with an extra head and the requisite spider hands. But he had to leave his other toys at home, and he's bringing his wife for another $26.50. Anyway guys, thanks for checking out this video. And thanks to all of you, truly, for checking out any of my stuff over this last year. Like, comment, please subscribe. I am just getting started. Thanks.